It isn't a store. It isn't a website. It isn't even a brand. It is a 24-hour psychological experiment that moves at the speed of light. A $4.99 dress, a $2.30 phone case, a $1.49 pair of earrings. Millions of people order from these apps every single day, not because they need anything, but because the algorithm has made the buy feel better than the product itself. The price is so low, it doesn't feel real. That's because it isn't. Behind that $5 dress is a global machine, one that has obliterated traditional retail, broken international trade law, weaponized consumer psychology, and is now fighting for its survival inside a federal courthouse in Washington, D.C. Your favorite cheap app isn't just a store, it's a casino, and the house always wins. This is corporate capital. We deconstruct the moves that shape the global economy. If you want to see the boardroom battles before they hit the headlines, hit subscribe now. To understand the rise of Shein and Temu, you have to forget everything you know about fashion and retail. This isn't about style, it's about math. Shein's founder, Chris Xu, wasn't a designer, he was an SEO specialist. He realized that if you could monitor search trends in real time and link them directly to a factory floor, you could bypass the biggest risk in retail: inventory. While giants like Zara order thousands of units of a trend based on a seasonal guess, Shein orders 50. Just 50. If the data says it's a hit, they scale instantly. If not, the design is deleted from the server. But how do you get a package from Guangzhou to Ohio for less than the cost of a sandwich? Enter the de minimis policy. Section 321 of the U.S. Tariff Act was originally a minor rule meant to help travelers bring home souvenirs. It allowed packages valued under $800 to enter the country duty-free and without rigorous inspection. But Shein and Temu turned this footnote into a highway. By 2024, nearly 4 million of these ghost packages were arriving in the U.S. every single day. It was a massive tax loophole, a cheat code that allowed these apps to undercut every domestic competitor who had to pay import duties on bulk shipments. Combined with variable ratio reinforcement, the same psychological trick used in slot machines, these apps turn shopping into a high-speed game. You don't just buy a product, you win a deal. The ticking timers, the spinning wheels, the flashing limited stock warnings, they are all designed to keep you in a state of high arousal impulsivity. By 2025, Temu had become the most downloaded app in America, controlling a staggering share of the ultra-low-cost market. The success of these platforms has come at a staggering cost to the domestic economy. As billions of dollars flow directly to overseas manufacturers, the traditional retail landscape of the US and the EU is being hollowed out. When a consumer buys a $2 gadget from Temu, that's $2 removed from a local ecosystem. Retailers that employ millions of people, from floor staff to warehouse managers, simply cannot compete with a model that pays zero import tax and utilizes a supply chain with no minimum wage or safety overhead. We aren't just losing sales, we are losing the infrastructure of our communities. But the damage goes deeper than just store closures. It's about the theft of ideas. Allegations of design theft have become a hallmark of the ultra-fast fashion model. Independent artists frequently find their unique, handcrafted designs replicated and mass-produced on these apps within days of posting them online. The machine doesn't just copy the trend, it steals the soul of small businesses. When a billion-dollar algorithm scrapes the internet for designs to clone, it strips the economy of its creative incentive. Why create something new if a micro-batch factory can steal it and sell it for $3 before your first prototype is even finished.
This is Corporate Capital. Here, we dissect happenings in the corporate world. Subscribe now for more insights regarding the world's most valuable brands.
Behind the polished app interface is a reality that most consumers choose to ignore. In the manufacturing hubs of Panyu, the on-demand model translates to inhumane pressure. Reports have emerged of workers pulling 18-hour shifts, 7 days a week, to meet the algorithm's relentless demands. In this system, the human being is just another gear in the machine, expected to move as fast as the data. This isn't just a business relationship, it's a mafia-style system of control. Legal filings allege that these platforms use coercive tactics to dominate their suppliers. This includes fining factories for minor delays, locking them into exclusive contracts, and effectively owning the means of production through financial debt. If a factory tries to work with a rival or negotiate better terms, they are blacklisted, effectively deleted from the global supply chain. And then there is the planet. We are currently producing 92 million tons of textile waste every year. Because these items are so cheap, they have become disposable. People buy things they don't need, use them once, and throw them away. It is a cycle of hyper-consumption that the planet simply cannot sustain. The environmental cost of a $5 dress isn't paid at the checkout. It is externalized onto our oceans, our landfills, and the future generations who will inherit a world draped in polyester.
By early 2026, the party is crashing. The legal landscape is shifting beneath the feet of these giants. The Wild West era of unregulated e-commerce is facing a massive correction. The US and EU have finally moved to revoke the de minimis loophole for high-volume e-commerce. The cheat code is being deleted. Without the ability to bypass taxes and inspections, the math of the $5 dress no longer works. Prices are rising, and the logistical advantage that built these empires is evaporating. At the same time, the IPO, the initial public offering, has become a golden cage. Both Shein and Temu's parent company have faced immense resistance from regulators and investors. The concerns? Data privacy, forced labor allegations, and the sheer opacity of their business practices. Without a successful IPO, the massive burn rate required to keep prices low and marketing high becomes unsustainable. They are trapped between a regulatory wall and a financial cliff. We are entering a new era. Even if Shein and Temu continue to operate in the West, it will no longer be business as usual. New court rulings and government policies are finally prioritizing the person over the price tag. From forced labor prevention acts to mandatory environmental reporting, the guardrails are being rebuilt. The goal is no longer just about the cheapest price, it's about the true cost. As consumers are protected and the market is leveled, we are left with one final realization. The question isn't whether cheap things cost money, the question is, who pays? The worker in Guangzhou making $18 a day, the independent designer who never got paid at all, the retail workers in American malls who no longer have jobs, and the planet, which absorbs the waste of every impulse purchase made at 2 a.m. in the dark by someone who didn't need anything but clicked buy now anyway.
This is corporate capital. We deconstruct the moves that shape the global economy. If you want to see the boardroom battles before they hit the headlines, hit subscribe now.